This is The Download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news of the business of podcasting, brought to you by Spreaker from iHeart. I'm Gavin Gaddis. Here's what you need to know for today, Thursday, August 1st. Rabbit. First up, The Hidden Cost of Ad Skipping by Tom Webster. Ad nauseum, the latest research study from Sounds Profitable, is focused on consumer perceptions of advertising and podcasts. Part of that involved looking at reasons why podcast audiences skip ads. The issue with ad skipping is podcast advertising truly works, as has been demonstrated repeatedly over the past decade plus that podcasting has existed. Respondents find podcasting is doing a good job at finding a balance of advertising to content, and the industry is doing a good job at finding the right ads for the right shows. There is no one monolithic reason, such as I just hate podcast ads, that motivates listeners to hit that 30-second skip button. Next up, Rajar Q2 2024 analysis by Adam Bowie. The latest Radio Joint Audience Research report on the state of audio in the UK has arrived. Some networks, such as Radio 4, report audience reach losses for the quarter in radio. Bowie proposes that Rajar data can't fully measure if audiences are switching from broadcast to nonlinear listening, but there might be a clue in the podcasting statistics. Quarter one numbers for the weekly podcast listener population in the UK grew from 11.7 million to 12.3 million in Q2, accounting for 21.3% of the UK's population. Next up, retail media networks have a measurement issue, why standardization is a marketing challenge. A new ANA report shows a substantial segment of marketers have concerns about measurement attribution and a lack of standardization across platforms when it comes to the walled gardens of retail media networks, otherwise known as RMNs. A section of the ANA and the Media Rating Council are currently working on advancing measurement standards for RMNs, a familiar parallel for podcast advertising veterans. Every new and upcoming channel experiences similar, if not identical, issues. When it comes to measurement and ad tech, it's rare to find an issue that is endemic to just one form of media. From standardization issues to clients forever running trials on ads that are proven to work, these are all things advertisers want and very few publishers can provide. Finally, Spotify could soon get its own Gemini extension, and here's how that could work. Google's Gemini chatbot now offers support for extensions, allowing the use of Google and third-party apps through Google's voice assistant. Android Authority has cracked open the latest version of the Google app and has found an unreleased Spotify extension for Gemini. The feature currently allows users to ask Gemini to play a song or podcast via Spotify, and the assistant starts that content automatically. There is no current information as to how Gemini's podcast requests will be reflected back to hosting platforms of podcasts hosted outside of Spotify. As for the rest of the news, Triton Digital announces their first Latin America Sales Network podcast ranker and published their 2024 Latin America Audio Insights Report. Yahoo DSP talks the power of podcast programmatic advertising and how they're pitching in to grow that market. Bloomberg covers the friction behind the scenes at Crooked Media's Pod Save America during a turbulent election season. Joni Deutsch announces she is now Podglomerate SVP of Marketing and Audience Development. And Spotify India's head of sales talks about the platform's growth and strengths. Be sure to check out the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to the newsletter version. The Download is written and produced by Newton Shuttlecotty, myself, Brian Barletta, and Tom Webster. This episode is hosted on Spreaker. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis. Download us again tomorrow.